So we have a lot of stuff to show you guys, and I think you guys are gonna like what we have. This is stuff that's forthcoming, meaning we expect to ship it probably by the end of this month or first week of next month. It's in testing right now. They're just trying to squash the last few bugs and get things out the door. There's a lot to this release, and there's a couple of the features that I want to dig deeper into, and I think you guys are gonna like what we have. So let's start to explore. We are going to talk about both Mylio Photos and our planned Mylio Photos Plus. They both have lots of benefits to you. Remember, you can use Mylio Photos to manage what's on a single device for free, or you can employ Mylio Photos Plus to manage your library across all your devices as well as protect those files. So we'll go through a handful of things. We're going to focus on what's new and improved, and I'll give you a little bit of information. And along the way, please ask questions. Also, we welcome your comments about some of these features. We'd love to hear your thoughts as we're showing you each one, if it's useful to you or any questions or concerns you might have. So that'll help us just refine and tell you more about it. As I said, this is coming soon. So it's in final testing right now. And I'm going to be able to show you most of the features today in a working version. And we're just finalizing, just putting the dot in the I's and crossing the T's. My name's Rich Harrington. I'm a member of the product team. I'm also a photographer and a video director. And through the years, I've written several books and courses on photography to help people. And as it was mentioned by Lori, we are recording. And please, if you have any questions for me, put them into the Q&A pod, or others will do their best to respond as well. If you just want to let us know what's on your mind, feel free to put that into chat and share your thoughts with us and or others in the webinar and event. Okay, so thank you guys, and we will make that replay available. All right, so we're going to jump right in. I see no questions at the beginning here, and we're just going to sort of go into the core benefits. Remember, with Mylio Photos, you're able to manage all the images on your device, and that is included in the free version of our product. With this, you can make it really easy to browse and search even a large photo library. It's a very fast tool as you're going to be doing those things, and it lets you add meaningful details to your images, such as tagging people, adding information about the events, the locations, details, etc. And that information can become embedded in your files when you export or share. Or equally important, that information can be left out for increased privacy with our Safe Share option. So this works on a single cloud-independent space that helps you manage your content. If you do step up to Mylio Photos Plus, which we encourage you to consider, this is going to give you those benefits across multiple devices. So you'll be able to log in on all your devices. In my case, that's quite a few. And your laptop, your phone, etc. And all that content is backed up. I recently took a trip with my daughter, and as we were visiting the National Association of Broadcasters conference in Las Vegas, and we took pictures and we went places, all of those pictures were syncing to my computer and backing up to my vaults automatically. So not that I did, but I didn't have to worry about losing my phone or the pictures when we went out to the desert to take, great photographs together. All those pictures are backed up and kept safe. Also, with Space Saver technology, it meant that when I took out my iPad and I wanted to show people pictures, on my iPad, I have 25 years worth of photography. So you're able to actually keep everything. And we have space optimization technology that's really designed for your mobile devices to make it easy to have all of your photos with you at all times. In fact, you can fit up to 15 times the same amount of photos on a device using Space Saver. Okay? All right, so that's the key difference between the two versions of our product. Remember, Mylio Photos is free to use, and with our Mylio Photos Plus plan for $10 a month or $99 a year, you get those extra benefits, including protection. Okay? All right, so I see two questions. And interested in what editing capabilities will be included. I'm assuming you're talking about in the update, Ron. We're going to get to that in a moment. We've just added a shortcut bar to get to those adjustments. You might have missed that we did add an auto tone capability in our last update. And also, let's see here, you have the ability, no, Mylio Photos free, never had the ability to add extra computer pop. So in order to do syncing and things like that, you would need this. So Mylio Photos has never had that ability, but we're going to move forward. Okay, great. So let's jump forward. And no video editing capabilities, Ron, so no problem. All right, so what's new with update 3? Under the hood, there's been a lot of changes. We've done a ton of performance improvements. I'm not going to go through all of those, but a lot of customer reported requests and features have been added and enhanced. But we've also added several new things to the application. We'll start off, most of these are included with Mylio Photos plan, and some of them will benefit from the Mylio Photos Plus plan. So one of the things we've done is we've added easier access to the editing tools, including the ability to do this right from the sidebar or in grid view for several images. So let me go ahead and bring this up. And you'll see a new toolbar in the right-hand toolbar that gives you shortcut access to auto enhance, auto color, and auto tone. Auto enhance is like a standard auto button. It tends to brighten and increase color in the images. It's a boost, so particularly if you have photos that just look a little washed out. Auto color is great when you have color balance issues, white balance problems, or a lack of color contrast. And auto tone, our newest adjustment, is perfect for general exposure and contrast issues. So you have 3 recipes that you can choose from. Let me switch on over here to Mylio, and I'm just going to jump into a folder. So recently I had a chance to take a trip, and we visited Morocco. So I'm in folder view here. I'm going to open up the navigation and just start typing, and you'll see how quick it is to find something you're looking for. So with just a click, I can jump in and there I go. Now, the benefits here is that we can start to enhance these images or fix issues that we encounter. Let me just go down a little bit here. And so if I select some of these pictures, and I click, you'll see we have different options. There's our auto enhance versus the ability here for auto color for color balance issues, or auto tone to fix tonal issues. So as we look at some of these different issues and the types of pictures you'll see, in grid view, you could select multiple photos at once and then make that enhancement. Or if you were dealing with something where there was underexposure here, for example, again, I can auto tone, and it just did a great job. If you look at the sort of before and after state there, how it brought the tonal value to life. Again, this works in grid view just fine, but it'll also work if you are in a single image view. So let's just step on in here to one of these pictures. And let's say I wanted to enhance that. Again, you can click and you'll be able to access those different options with just a click. Now, in this case, I chose to edit a phone picture. That picture was already edited by my phone. So it was letting me know that if I were to modify that, it would discard the phone edits. We'll also talk about this new storage panel here in just a second. But you can see that with this, it's just easy access to the core editing tools with just a click, giving you that ability to find the most functional edit tools at your fingertips. So when you encounter a challenge, it's not a big deal. You have a tough exposure, you can just fix it. There's auto tone, auto color, and auto enhance right there, easy to access. Okay, so that's a simple little productivity boost, saving you the time from having to open up the edit panel. And remember, that does absolutely work in grid view. So you're able to select a range of photographs, and you can enhance those all at once, again, with just a click. And it will do that application there and quickly bring, in that case, the tonal values out for those photos. All right, let us know in the chat pod what you think of that feature. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So feel free to tell us a little bit more about that, and let us know which one is your favorite if you've already tried these recipes out. Again, this is just a toolbar, bringing it front and center to make it a lot easier. Steve, to your question, what happens when the images are edited? All of Mylio Photos edits are non-destructive. So we're applying that to a sidecar file that contains the instructions. When you export or publish or go to the web, then the edits are applied, but the original image is never touched. So you always have the ability to reset or undo or further modify. All the edits done inside of Mylio Photos are non-destructive edits, so you don't need to worry about that. Okay? All right. Any other questions, guys, that we need to answer related to this feature? Do they work on an old photo? Absolutely, Yolanda. Let me do that one for you here. So let me go to scans. And that's actually some of the reasons why we brought this out. So let me go here into folder library scans. This is good. These are some older photos, or actually I'll go to my organize, scans to organize. I got a lot more in there. There we go. And so you can find all sorts of images that have problems, like me. So what we can do here is just access those again from that shortcut. And auto color is going to fix color balance issues very quickly. Whereas things like auto tone will just bring the tonal values back, giving you a much better exposure to work with. So you can cruise through those, but auto color and auto tone are actually both great for old photos. And you're going to find that they just do a really nice job, particularly, like here's some pictures of my parents. Back then you're going to have older color type issues. So you're able to bring that color balance out. You can stack those if you want, or I'll back that off and just tweak a little. And then you are free to fine tune as you see fit. But you can deal with color balance issues. You can deal with exposure problems. There's quite a bit you can do with those. And so you'll want to experiment to find which one works best for you. But there's a nice change with auto tone. And you can see how we were able to just get a good black and white point on that really old photograph there. So I hope that addresses your question there. And that's great. So auto enhance is actually not like auto color plus auto tone. Auto enhance is an older method that we've had in the program for a while. Auto tone and auto color work with the levels adjustments down here, and they actually evaluate the image for those types of problems. So when you run it, you can see here a large gap in the histogram. And so auto color, or this auto button, works on an individual color channel basis, versus auto tone is a different recipe where the color channels are not touched, but instead it just works on the luminosity details, and it adjusts those using the luminosity and doesn't touch the color channels independently. So you can take a look at those. Those are our two newer color correction and exposure correction methods that are included with the product. Okay. All right. I think we got those covered. I don't see any other questions open on that, so we're going to go forward. So let us know if you guys have any other questions. And yes, you can absolutely batch, Steve. Just select a group of photos like I did earlier. So you can absolutely select several photos at once. And you'll see auto enhance, auto color, and auto tone there in presets, or you have it right there in the grid, and you can make that change. So there I got snow back to the color of snow instead of the pile of gray it was. And so with a quick fix, because at my dad's 80th birthday, it was a great thing to bring up these pants. It definitely brought a smile to his face, and it was lovely to revisit some of these old photographs with him. Okay. So hopefully that addresses your questions there. Okay, let's keep going. We also now have a brand new panel that came out of a lot of research of working with our users called the storage panel, and it is available for single image view. Now, technically speaking, the storage panel is really only needed for Mylio Photos Plus users because it is letting you manage storage on different devices. Obviously, when you're using just the regular version of Mylio Photos, you only have the originals on that device. But this panel is available for those of you who are syncing between devices, and it gives you several much easier to access controls. First off, you have the ability now to adjust the per image sync policy. So if you're working on a device and you want to decide how that device syncs, you get that control right there at the device level. So you can go in on an individual image and adjust its policy. So that'll give you flexibility to really decide what is stored on that device. And also, you can see the device policy for any of your attached drives. So if you have a secondary device attached, you can adjust that. And you'll see where you have original quality files, as well as where a file came from. So I'm currently on a machine that's set to a vault, but I'll still show you this, and then I'll switch to a device that's not a vault. Remember, a vault is a device that's set to have all of your images, okay? So here, I'm going to go up to my Apple Photos library here. And my daughter and I just got back from our trip. We did some fun things in Las Vegas, including going out for just monster pancakes, which is a lot of fun. And so if I go to the storage panel, and if you don't see the storage panel later, you can turn it on under your settings and device appearance. I'll see a lot of information about this. So I currently see, for example, that I'm on a Vault. And on this device, my Mac Studio, it's stored at this quality. On other devices, I'd be able to switch that. So here on a Vault, I can't really switch that sync policy, but I can see if it's an optimized quality or if it's original quality and how it's being stored on this device, okay? JC, do me a favor. If you could just take a capture here for Vault devices, these are supposed to be grayed out, so we'll have to file a bug. This is one of the things we check at like the very last end. On a Vault device, you shouldn't be able to change this, but that's okay. We'll get that little part tweaked. I also see that this file is coming from iCloud in this case, so I know that this is being managed by my iCloud library. So that works really well, and I could see sort of what's going on with an individual file. Let me go ahead and navigate back here, and I'm going to go to a different folder for a second, and I'm going to come over here to ebook. And so in this case, I'll select one of my books, and I can, again, take a look at where things are being stored once I go into that single image view. So I can decide what's stored on this device. Additionally, I can see information about the size of that file. So I know, for example, if I was on my phone and I wanted to sync this one ebook to my phone, that I would need 153 megabytes of disk space. So this lets you know in advance when you click that button, what's going to download to your device. So this is a way to trigger and call up individual files. And it's not just a temporary on-demand download. In the past, you could always download now, and that would temporarily download the files into your cache. This is actually changing the sync policy, meaning you are telling it that you want this individual file to always sync to this device, even if you were to clear the cache. So this is letting you have much more precise file-by-file control over how things sync. You might remember we already have the ability to, for example, click on a device and choose the tap to sync policy, but this is letting me do that on a per file level. Additionally, I can see what's associated with this file. Hey, I have a PDF file. I have an optimized image. I have a thumbnail, and this is the folder where it came from. So this way you can learn a lot about a device. So let's say I was searching. I'll go back to, just a general search, and I found something. I can select that picture and see all the photos from that trip. Now, maybe I want to know where this picture came from. So if I take a look here at the individual image and in the storage panel, I can see that this is a JPEG, it's optimized, the thumbnail, and it came from this folder. I also see where it was imported from. In this case, it was imported from an iPhone. This one was, on the other hand, a RAW file, and it was actually captured and imported on my MacBook. So I can see where I imported it and on what date. And if I twirl down the original file locations, I see that my Mac Studio and my travel drive, which is currently not plugged in, has a copy, as does my NAS and my Vault. So all of these devices actually have an original quality file available to me if I needed to go find it. So I was on a machine and I didn't actually have an original. This would tell me which device I'd need to turn on in order to sync and get an original file. So this storage panel lets you know all about what you have for an individual file. Tells you what it's syncing as, what files are in there, in this case, a RAW and a JPEG, and an optimized image and the thumbnail, what folder it was in. So with just a click, I can navigate to the folder and find it. And I can then see extra information about which devices have it. So let us know in the comments section what you guys think about this new panel, but it's designed to make it a lot easier to really understand what's going on with your images and what you have. Again, you'll see it in single image view, and it'll let you adjust the policy for any attached drive, as well as the device you're working with. See which files are associated with that if you've got RAW, JPEG, thumbnails, previews, etc. where it's actually got a full quality file available, and where you imported the file from and on what date. Okay. So hopefully you guys like this. Good. I'm seeing some good positivity. Yeah, we're trying to make it more clear. It's what we like to refer to as, where's my stuff? So it kind of helps you understand, especially when you've got a network, right? Because like some of us have really simple libraries, phone plus computer. Others, like me, not so simple library. Computer, coworker, tablet, device, 2 cell phones, etc. All these things start to add up. And so it's nice to know what's going on. And, when I turn on a device, like in this case, my phone, if I launched Mylio, it would start to sync and get the pictures it needs. So remember, this really sort of helps you understand what's going on with your library, and it gives you much greater control over what is stored on the device that you're currently browsing. Okay, so this was trying to really elevate that and make it much more clear when you're looking at an individual file, what do you have? Where did it come from? So in this case, I've got a JPEG and I can see it. And I see that it came actually from my Android phone. So this was imported on my Android device, and that's where it came from. So it's great to know where all these things are and to be able to capture and then bring them back to life. Okay. Hopefully this will cut down on confusion. It's not for the faint of heart in that there's a lot of information in here. That's why we suggest you only open what you need. But the local sync policy should hopefully help, especially because it really lets you know like the file size and the choices you make from going from the optimized image to the full quality image on that device. Remember, when you're on mobile devices and things like that, the space can get run out. My photo library is about 14 terabytes in size, so I can't fit that on a phone or an iPad. But I can decide maybe there's certain photos I always wanted full quality, then I have it. Otherwise, I've got a 5x7-inch print available with that optimized image. So that's the new storage panel. Also, the Learn panel now is got an upgrade. So I want to point out, if you're a new user or on trial, the Learn panel is going to open by default, but it now actually is its own floating window. So you can drag it, you can set it outside the application, you can leave it right in the application. If you're just getting started, we have our Essentials training right there to walk you through the application. The next tab is a chat tab, and you can ask a question. So there's both real people and a chatbot available that is going to do a good job of trying to give you the right answer. So maybe I want to know something about, how do I import from an Android? And so I could type a question in, and it's going to search through everything and find a good answer for us. And so it will look at the database. There we go. And so it's going to come back here with an answer, and it will make a suggestion. Or maybe I want to know about another thing of syncing. So you can go through and ask in chat and just put those questions in. It'll keep track of your history. Also, you can go under the help section here and search for articles, which is going to work well. So in this case, I'll just type in Android and hit return. And I see every relevant article that references it. Oh, how do I add media? And there you'll have nice, quick instructions. And then if you need to, you can link over to a longer article or the manual. There's short videos in here. It's all available. We have some information about Mylio Photos Plus and some extra resources. For example, joining the community, seeing the detailed product guide, or the in-depth video course that you're welcome to watch. So all of that is right inside the app, so you don't have to leave anymore. And it'll make it much easier to get questions answered while you're working. Okay. I see a question about how does sync policy deal with XMP files. You are always going to have an XMP file, Harold. That's where Mylio stores its information and the sidecar edits and everything else. So this is just controlling whether or not you have an optimized image or an original image on your device, but you always have an XMP file as soon as you've modified a file in any way whatsoever. So you have to keep those XMP files. They're part of how Mylio works. Okay. Let's see here if there's anything else we need to answer. Would you be able to find images or folders that deviate from the overarching sync policy? Thomas, you can see that already in the sync policy. If you go to your device and you select an individual device and you take a look at the device sync policy, At the bottom here, you would see if you had any overrides applied. Okay, so when you go into your sync settings and you take a look at the device sync policy, if you had any modification things here at the folder level, such as certain tap to sync, you would actually see the folder overrides at the bottom of that sync policy. So all of that stuff is already in the app. It doesn't need to be added because it's already there. Okay. All right, let's keep going. So that Learn panel will be useful. Make sure you guys take a look at it. It's right there in the app now. You don't have to open a separate browser. It makes it easy to get things. So be sure to explore that. We've also expanded and improved our Spaces feature, which I think you guys will like. Spaces is a tool that makes it easy for you to customize what a device is allowed to access. So generally speaking, you can make a space for yourself to sort of narrow things down, or they're used more commonly to assign to a specific device. So if you're going to add a family member or share with a coworker, or maybe have a tablet sitting on your coffee table, well, you might want guests to be able to look at those pictures, but not delete them or reorganize them or rename them. So this way you can set restrictions on what's allowed for a particular device. So that's our Spaces concept. And so we've now made Spaces easier to use in many ways. So we got a lot of feedback on Spaces, and we've expanded their functionality quite a bit. First up, when you go to customize a space now, what's been changed is there's actually presets to make it easier to get that space set up. So we have a set of things, kind of like if you've ever worked in WordPress, where somebody could be an author or an editor or a contributor. And now when you hide something, if you disable it, we actually hide the button. So if a person is not allowed to delete, there's no delete button. They can't even be tempted. In the past, there would still be a button and clicking it would do nothing. We knew that wasn't great. So now when you just delete something or you disable the functionality for something, the user interface element is actually hidden. Here's those space presets. We have some ones just to make it easy, like someone's a teen, a viewer, a child, for example. Someone is a collaborator or a coworker, public, everything, etc. So just makes it simple, and I'll show you what this looks like. So when you go to set up a space, it's just under the menu here for Spaces. You'll have a list, and there's default ones. These are the default ones that are built in, okay? But you also can have your own up here that are custom. So I can go in under Manage Spaces. I've assigned a passcode to my space so that something is locked, and that way other people can't modify it. You could hide a space, but still have one available in the list. So I'm going to make a new space right now, and I'm going to call it my son's name. And then I can pick from a preset list here of what I want them to be able to do. So he's a teen. So that's going to assign a set of settings to that preset. Now I can decide if it has its own passcode or not, or if it's locked to the master passcode. If you're working with a colleague or a spouse and you want them to be able to switch spaces, then you might want to give them their own passcode. Otherwise, I'm going to just leave the master passcode on, and he won't be able to exit or leave the space that I've set up for his devices because it'll be required to exit. Under Quick Collections, I can decide which Quick Collections he should have access to. Remember, Quick Collections are basically the default ones are tied to categories that you can have on folders, but you can also make your own Quick Collections, and that's covered in the manual. Quick Collections for Spaces are generally built off of categories. So I'm going to give him access also to the newer Family History category that we just added. And I can add that to his library. So now he can see family and family history. And so I can give him both of those. If I wanted him to have access to something else, I can choose from this category here of what he should be able to see. And then on top of that, I can manage the views and tools. So maybe I don't want him seeing the dashboard to set up new devices or change his device. I don't need him to have the ability to dedupe or declutter, nor does he need to worry about sync. But I want him to have access to everything else. Great, he can use the rest of Mylio. If you're working with somebody who's a little bit more limited in their photo savviness, maybe you only give them access to albums and that's all they can see. And under permissions, you could, of course, decide what somebody has access to. Notice that that teen has the ability to add and modify things, but they can't delete anything, right? That way, they get mad over something or make a mistake. They can't start suddenly deleting the family's photo library. Okay, so now I'll just save it. Then going forward, I could select a device, such as the S23 Ultra here, his phone. And I could assign the space of Michael's device. Enter the code to apply it. And now that device is set up to just have that access. So the next time they go into that device, they're only going to see that content. Okay, so this gives you the ability to limit what the user is able to see and to apply some restrictions to that device. Okay, if I switch to that here, let me go ahead and switch just on this device so you see it. I'll go here to Michael's device. Notice here, there's no delete button, but they still have the ability to import or add. And if we go up here to the folder level, you'll see that the number of folders they can access has been restricted to just things that match the family or the family history category. And it says right across the top what you're in. Okay, so that's the ability for spaces. We've had this before, but what we've done now is we've expanded it significantly so it's easier to set up with presets. And if you hide something, disabling a feature, it's actually now hidden from them, so they're not able to access it. So if you hide the album view from someone, they'll no longer see the album view button. If you disable the ability to delete, they won't have a delete button or a delete keyboard shortcut. Okay? So let me know what you guys think about that. Go ahead and sign off in the chat. Let us know if you're using Spaces yet. Spaces are really designed so you can set up an individual device to have a limited set of access to things within the Mylio Photos application. This is designed just to control how Mylio Photos works. If you're using a phone or a tablet, then with the managed storage on those systems, they can't go poking around. But remember, this does not have the ability to control your operating system. So we're not able to lock people out of hard drives and things. This is just the Mylio Photos experience. Okay. All right. And make sure you take a look at the documentation. We have a lot of material on Spaces, so you can take a look at that. Okay. There is a delete button in the right panel once you're in your normal space. So when you have something selected, there's the trash can. That's the delete button. So in this case, it would be delete folder, which I'm not going to do. If I just had an individual item selected, it would be deleting the single item. So it just sort of depends on where you're at. Okay. Not sure, David, about quick collection plus device sync. So you'll have to be a little bit more specific or follow up with support. But quick collections should be working pretty well. Remember, quick collections are limited currently for syncing for categories only. So if you're trying to do something more advanced than that, the quick collections are only based on categories for device syncing. Okay. All right. Let's keep going forward. Yes, Robert, Michael's space would restrict him to just the folders that I gave him access to. But it didn't change. I still let him have access to all of the different views, but that was part of the space. Remember, you can always go in, and when you manage a space, you have the ability to decide what they have access to. So you can control which things they have access to, which categories. You can decide which views they're allowed to see, right? And you can decide which other things they're able to actually go in and modify and see and do, for example. Okay. So you can go in and really customize that and decide, what they're able to do and see and make those adjustments like you see there. Okay. So that gives you that control, and I'll go ahead and save that. There we go. And I'll close it now. Oh, I was on Michael's device before. Edit. There we go. And you can see which we'd give them permission to see versus what permission do they have to do. So what can they view? Which photos are they allowed to see? Which categories? And what can they do with that stuff? That's a space. Okay. Now, to complement spaces, we've actually added another feature, and it's called workflows. So workflows further simplify the user interface. Spaces restrict, workflows just hide things temporarily. So a workflow kind of narrows down what you're looking at so the application isn't so overwhelming. And right now, it's based on the goal you have. So right now, workflows are task-based. In the near future, you'll have the ability to make your own workflows and choose combinations of windows and tools that you want visible. So that'll come in a following update a little bit later this summer. So right now, right after somebody launches Mylio Photos for the first time, or if you were to come out to something, you would see the workflows opened. And what it looks like is this. Hey, I want to see everything. Not much of a change. Oh, I just want basic. Basic is going to take it down to just the all photos view, plus the ability to change spaces or access your tools. Oh, I would like to just do device setup. It's going to only show you the dashboard and hide everything else, because when you're in device setup, all you need is the dashboard, right? So it just simplifies things down. Oh, I'd like to do file management. Okay. We let you see all photos view to browse everything, and folder view to make it a little bit easier to manage things and move things between folders. So, you can go under that and really have that ability to kind of manage those files and move things around as needed. So the reason why we left all photos view in is you could, of course, open up the folder, the filter icon here, and maybe you want to see some things that are in your phone folders, like such. Then I can start browsing and say, oh, I want to move these pictures. Go ahead and move those. And I can say, oh, I want to move that to my Las Vegas folder. There we go. Boom. And I can move them in and file them away. So this just simplifies things down to file management. These are really easy to switch between. Oh, I just want to do photo sharing. You're going to see the ability to all photos and albums. And again, it just tries to simplify the user interface by removing things that you might not need for the job at hand. If you're a power user and you already are very comfortable navigating Mylio, you don't need workflows, I should say. But for a lot of users, it just cuts down on the clutter and shows them only the tools they need for a specific task. Okay? If something is in a private folder, Cleve, all you got to do is go to the everything space and you'll see your private folders. Private folders are only hidden when you're in a public space. So if you're in public or any of these other ones, we'll hide it. But you could view the private space or you could view the everything space, and then you will also see your private folders in those views. Okay, so that's how you move things around. If you want to always open Mylio in folder view, then choose the file management space. And when you quit and reopen, it should usually resume where you left off. And in the future, Sergio, you'll have the ability to set up your own workflows. So if you just want only the folder view visible, you'll be able to choose so. Okay. We have a few small expansions to our family history workflow. So with the family history flow, remember, we have lots of features, including supporting the family history metadata workgroup standards, the ability to go to family search, but we've added two new things. So there is now a default family history category, and we've added the family history space. So you will find a workspace that's available for family history that will show you just family history photos. And if you're browsing and you want to organize things, you'll see that family history is now a default category. If you previously made your own manual family history category, then I would suggest going under the custom list and removing it, and then just switch those to the default family history category. But remember, categories are a great way to organize things. So this way you can quickly assign what something is, so that when you apply a filter by category or you switch spaces, you can narrow your view. So when I want to just see my family history group, I could just, for example, jump in and say, oh, I only want family history photos. And now I'm ready to start sharing those. There we go, photo sharing. So now I'm taking a look at just things that match that. I'm in the family history categories and my photo sharing task. And now, instead of being presented with 480,000 photos to organize, I have a much more manageable 4,000 pictures that I need to get organized so that I can start going through some of my old scans and things I want to get posted and organized and share with other family members, right? So this makes it much easier to narrow your focus to the task at hand. So that's just a new default category, and that works well with the default family history space, or you can use that category for other purposes like sharing or syncing, okay? Yes, things cannot be in more than one folder, Valerie. Folders are singular. If you want to put things in a container, you can use more than one album, but any photo can have whatever categories you want. So you can click on the category list here and apply multiple categories. You'll also see if it inherited categories from the parent folder. So when you apply categories at the folder level, what happens is it's applied to everything inside the folder as an inherited category, but you absolutely can go in and then assign things on a per image basis if you want to as well. So I usually use categories at the folder level, and you can click and choose multiple ones, or you can click and choose from the shortcut list. So these are just the shortcut most popular ones, or click custom, and you can choose from your entire list, as well as modify that list, changing the order, adding new ones, etc. So you can add whatever categories you want. Like I have a category called time-lapse because I do a lot of time-lapse work, and a category called social media for images that I've shared to social media. Okay. We have modified the modifiers. Short way of saying it. It's now easier when you use quick filters to control them. And we've added some right click or long press options on those. Long press for a touch device, right click for a computer and such. And so when you're using these, you can start to narrow things down. So this works this way. So remember, quick filters are designed to help you narrow the focus. So let's say I go into my scans container, and remember, when you're in a folder, you can always click and say, show me all the media, and it will flatten the folders into a grid-like view. Now I could say, okay, I am looking for things. Let me use my quick filters. And I want pictures that have my wife in it. I can start typing. There it is, Megan. And then if I want that filter to stay, with just a right click, I can pin it. And now I can stack it and see pictures that also have maybe me in it. Now, this is currently a or, meaning it could be either of us. We will add some extra controls in the future, but there we go. So now I have pictures with two people, making it easy for me to see pictures of me or my wife. I can also do things like, oh, exclude me. So now it's only going to be pictures that have my wife and doesn't have me in the picture. So maybe I'm looking for pictures where we're not together that are in our library. So see how I can do that. Or I can go in, let's clear that out for a second. Maybe I am looking for pictures that are the red label, right? So I could type in the word red and I see smart tags and other things here, right? There's the red label. And I could say includes or doesn't include. And notice we also added the ability to remove things. So this gives you just that extra control. I could type in 5-star, okay, ones that are equal to 5 stars. Same thing, include or exclude. So this makes it simple to then navigate. Show me pictures that were 5-star and not red. So the changes here is that we now give you the ability with certain filters to actually stack those. So as you have a combo here, you'll see the ability to pin it or to include or exclude for certain types of filters, and that'll make it easier to narrow things down. Okay. So that's just the pill modifiers now, and I like that ability just to have more control over them as I'm working. Shortcut for categories, I don't remember. Somebody else might remember it. There is a key for category. I just don't remember what it is. There's a shortcut key to assign categories to something. So You can always go in and look up shortcuts. So let's use that as an example here. So I'll go in and search, right? And so I can start to navigate and type in a question. It'll find different shortcut keys, or we can type in the word category. See? Add categories, etc. And then you can go in and look up more about that and find out extra stuff, right? There we go. See? Okay. Let's close that. All right, let's keep going. So we have now added the last piece of our searching tools. So previously you had dynamic search, which searches everything in your library. You have quick filters, which narrow the view, and we've now added a find command that searches within the current container. So let me show you why you have three different tools. So if I'm just looking for something in general, and I don't know what it is, earlier I searched for Morocco, and it found some photos that had that in the keyword or the description. It found a folder for me. It found 157 places I visited in Morocco, and it found text in the pictures. Well, that was great. Oh, I was looking for the folder, right? So I can step in and there it is. And let's get a better cover image than McDonald's. So I'll set this as the cover for that folder. So you can go in and, go ahead and set the cover for something. There we go, Morocco, great. Now, let's say I'm within this folder and I know that the pictures I want are in this folder. You have find. If you want to see that, there's an option here to always show that dialog, or you could just press the different shortcuts and it will bring it up. So Command F will bring up the find command. That's on a Mac, Control F on a PC. Shift F will do your full screen and such. But, I can be in here and I can say, oh, find pictures with Megan in them. There we go. Pictures of my wife when we were in Morocco. I just typed her name and now I'm finding pictures that have us in them. Now, I still have some pictures left to face tag from this, but you see how it dims out the ones that don't match. It makes it a little bit easier as you're scanning through to quickly see what it is you're looking for. Or maybe I'm in person view and I just really want to quickly find somebody. Again, Command F. And as I type it, it's going to go ahead and start to locate something, right? And so there I found my daughter, right? It took me, it just popped it out so I didn't have to look so hard. So you have these and it lets you navigate within. So previously we had find on the map dialog and we had it in the calendar for events, but you'll now find it in all views. So this gives you that ability to search across everything. So dynamic search is to search the whole library and find something. And it's going to search on different categories and give you things to browse. The filters narrow down what you see within a window, like only show me 5 stars or only show me things that match this criteria. But the find command will look within the container to locate something. So let me know what you guys think about that. And hopefully that will help. To turn it on for all screens again is just under the More menu. So you click on the 3 dots in the upper corner. So if you always want the find dialog visible, just flip the switch for always show find, and then you'll have that listed. So that way, maybe I'm in an album and I want to find albums that have my mom in it. I can click and it's going to go through and see if there's anything that matched that word, right? So I didn't have anything with that word in it. So I'll search for Michael, right? There. It found an album that had him in the name. There's another one, Michael's Graduation. So as your lists get longer and longer, this just helps you sort of navigate through what you have within an individual view, making it easier. So if I was looking for an album called Michael, I didn't have to go to dynamic search to search across everything for Michael. I could just go to albums and find the Michael album with the find command. Okay. Kimberly, you can type keywords in there. You can use any search expression that you want. So, I would suggest you probably want to do filtering that way, but I could say keyword outdoor. And there's pictures that were, outdoor keyword. And I can go from one to the next to the next. So that's a way of doing it. So yes, you can, type in an expression there, like I did keyword colon, and then the keyword I wanted. Just like you can do person colon, right? So if I was looking for photos of person, Rich and Megan, let's see if this will work. Should. Then I can start to navigate through those. I'd have to do person and another person, but it's fine. You can do that and, be very specific with how you search. And there, it navigates from one to the next very quickly. See? So it just sort of makes it easier when you're browsing within a container to find what's inside that container that you're looking for. Okay. There is no keyword list view, Kimberly, so we will have a keywords quick filter in the future. It's something that's in development now, but it's not ready to release. So you'll be able to use your quick filter tree like you have here. So you'll be able to then do that. And that would let you filter by keywords, but you can already search by keywords today. But it would work just like you would have here. And as you start typing, it would also show you if you had matches. But that keyword quick filter doesn't exist yet, but it is in development. We are adding a new publishing tool for VIEWBUG. So VIEWBUG is a fun website for photo sharing. It lets you build out albums and other such. Some of you might have picked up a VIEWBUG membership with a bundle we did in the past. So let me open up the VIEWBUG website really quick. So we're adding a publishing tool, and you'll be able to go to VIEWBUG, upload photos, get feedback on your pictures, browse for inspiration. They do have all sorts of contests you can enter. I'll point out of the way that with a lot of these contests, some of them are free to enter. There's others that cost, but go ahead and lean into some of the descriptions for what they're looking for in a contest, and then you can use quick filters to find pictures that match. So this will kind of tell you a little bit about their website. Like I said, they have contests. You can build out albums and galleries. You can also get feedback on your pictures, and it's a nice, great way to share. You can take a look at VIEWBUG, and we'll have publishing tools to VIEWBUG that'll be ready soon, and they'll just be under our share menu. Also, we have added some additional functionality for Frame.io. I'm going to go through this quickly. Frame.io's tools are part of Adobe software, and they're used for collaboration. Currently, they're used more in the video space, but Adobe has indicated, and they just released a beta of their version 4 platform where they unveiled a bunch of stuff for photo sharing and feedback and collaboration. So if you're a Creative Cloud user, you do have access to Frame.io, and it's a way to really integrate. So we have the ability to connect to Frame.io for importing. So when you connect to your Frame.io account, this will give you the ability to download assets that were shared with you. I have a Fujifilm 106 camera. It shoots right to Frame.io, camera to cloud. And so as I take pictures, I can actually back them up to the cloud and download them. So I get that same sort of functionality like I have on a cell phone, but my pictures just are automatically available for import into Mylio, or I can share that project with others. And so we give you the ability to browse and import folders. That's been in the app for a while. Recently, we also rolled out the ability to publish to Frame.io, and this lets you upload a new version. So under the share menu, we have a publish command, and so you can post a new file for feedback or stack a file with the previous version. Like, hey, I edited this, and now I'm putting it up as version 2. What's brand new is we've also now added the ability to watch projects. So what we've added here is a project watcher. So if you're collaborating with other people, you can sign in, and Mylio will detect every few minutes if new things have been shared with you. It'll then download it to your Vault device and back that up. So it's a great way to back up your Frame.io projects, as well as to automatically pull down assets on a project that you're collaborating with, whether those be stills or video. Now, again, this feature is really designed for Creative Cloud users. It's more popular currently for those working in the video space, but it is actually something that's going to be significantly expanding over the rest of the year into the photography space with a lot of integrations for Adobe software, other software apps. So I encourage you to take a look at that, and you'll see some really cool integrations if you're an Adobe user. So this will just make it easier to connect things. Okay, so go ahead and check that out when you get a chance. Let's go ahead and go forward here really quick. We have given you more control now with our safe delete feature. So we see a lot of people accidentally delete things in their Mylio account. What tends to happen is you start poking around on the operating system and you go, oh, let me throw these away. And you think you're freeing up space, or you think you don't need something, or you make a mistake in thinking it's a copy. Remember, when you're browsing the file system, Mylio syncs things there. And we've seen people accidentally delete stuff. So Safe Delete has gotten an upgrade. So Safe Delete works when you have vaults that are protecting your stuff. Remember, a vault is a device that you've said, keep a copy of everything in my library. This doesn't have to be fast storage. You can get highly affordable, high capacity hard drives for just a few $100s. And it's very easy to set up a vault. I'll show you how in just a moment. With Safe Delete, if you throw something away at the operating system level, you have the ability to restore the files. And this gives you more control. One option is restore deleted files automatically. So you're on a device and you throw something away and you didn't realize it was in your Mylio library. It'll just bring those files back the next time it connects to the network that has a vault attached, and it'll start to sync them back to your machine. The new option is called free up space on this device. This is for power users who tend to go around and throw things away and manage at the file system level. This lets you throw something away on that device, and if it's on a vault somewhere, it will then start to sync it and bring it back to your device if you ask for it to sync, when you say sync originals or you change the sync policy. But it's kind of like clearing up the cache manually. Or if you're a real power user and you delete it on the Finder level, it'll then propagate those deletions across all your devices. Now, I want to give an important message here, which is I strongly recommend you do your deletions inside of Mylio Photos, where it will tell you exactly what's going to happen and remind you that you're deleting something on all devices, or that this is the only copy you have and you're deleting it. But this is designed for an extra level of protection. So if you're the type of user who tends to, poke around your file system, you now have a little more control. So device by device level, you can go in and you can really make it safe. So you can select an individual device that's not a vault, because vaults, you can't change this. On a vault, there is no such thing as safe delete. It's only going to keep it. So you can say, hey, I want to restore automatically, or I want to delete on all devices if I delete. But let's say I'm working on my laptop. Well, on this case, I just might want to free up space. So I'm navigating, I'm at the OS level, I'm running out of space, I throw something away. Well, I didn't throw it away from my Mylio library accidentally. It'll actually just, leave it in my Mylio Photos library alone. But on that device, I freed up disk space manually. Okay, so this again is a power user feature. Strongly recommend you read the documentation. By default, it's going to be set to restore deleted files. But what we heard from power users was they wanted more control. So you have that control. Hey, if I delete something at the OS level, it does delete everywhere, or it only deletes on this device to free up space. Okay. All right. Do you need to have your vaults connected to your computer 24/7? Some people don't. Some people have a vault that they unplug and they store off-site, and then periodically they'll take it out of the safety deposit box and bring it back. It's much faster if you leave it connected, but lots of people have workflows where they don't leave vaults connected all the time. That's up to you. To add a vault is really simple. Just go to your device panel and click Add Vault. It will scan the size of your library, tell you the suggested size of vault to add, and then you could choose to add external or cloud. And then it'll show you a list of devices that are big enough that you have attached to your computer. And you can click Continue. If you need a hard drive, just click I need a hard drive. And it'll take you to our website and give you some details about recommended drives and show you the capacities that are available, and gives you the ability to learn more about those drives or link. It'll also talk to you about the travel drive workflow, which I highly recommend. I use this all the time when I'm traveling, and think of this more as a partial vault. it's going to automatically back up everything you capture for the last 90 days. So it's going to take what you do for the last 3 months, keep it on that drive. So like when you're popping in your memory card and you're on trips, you're shooting on your phone, this backup drive, which is SSD, will automatically keep a copy of the last 3 months' pictures with you at all times, which is great. So you always have access to the photos, videos, and documents that you most recently captured. So it's a really easy way. And remember, these SSDs are bus powered. So you can plug them in to the USB-C port on an iPhone or on an iPad. Android doesn't have support for that yet. Or you can plug them into your Mac or PC laptop for easy use while traveling. Okay. So hopefully that adds some value to you and gives you what you guys need. Okay. All right. We are getting sort of towards the end. We're going to open up for some questions here in a moment. But that was the safe delete. The other thing that we recently added, if you hadn't seen, is Mylio Photos Plus now supports multiple accounts, meaning you can use more than one Mylio Photos account. So if you want to set up an account for collaboration, like I have a family history project that I share with my dad, we can both have a Mylio Photos account, sign into that same account, and be working collaboratively on it, and have complete control over everything that's on that account. Maybe you want one account for work and you're allowing some coworkers in there, but you want all your personal stuff completely kept separate. So this goes an extra level. So what you have here is the ability to use more than one account. And so you'll find it right under the account icon, and you can just click on that and actually switch or set up a second account. Each account will cost, but you can see here, and you can actually switch, and you'll see all the different accounts that you have access to, and you can add a new one or set which one you want for startup and then switch over to it. So this will just give you more control, and I invite you to take a look at that if you ever found that. Or maybe you're helping a family member out, and you want to help them get up and running with Mylio Photos. Well, they can give you access to their account. Right? You can get their email address, sign in. It'll send them a temporary code that will only work on your device. They can give you the PIN code. You type it in, you're logged in, and now you're in and you can help manage that device. So we have a lot of photo managers that help people out this way, professional people that help other people organize their libraries, or maybe you just want to support a family member. Again, you can now do that with multi-account access, which is a great feature. You can actually switch between different accounts as needed. Speaking of photo managers and getting help, if you guys haven't seen it, we actually launched a new service called the Concierge plan. And this is in partnership with the photo managers, which is a great group that help people learn and organize their photos. And this will allow you to work with the photo organizer. We'll match you to someone who's a good fit for your goals. And they'll actually help with you with multiple sessions, giving you advice on how to approach photo organization, helping you create a structure, work with third-party services if necessary. So you can check out this page. It has some information about it, and it goes way beyond just what you would do in Mylio. They'll show you how to use Mylio Photos, but more importantly, they'll really help you come up with a process on how to organize and think about your library. So if you want to make sure that your library is ready for future generations or to pass on to another family member, or you just feel sort of overwhelmed and don't know where to begin from an organization point of view, you could take a look at this. You are going to be working one-on-one with a professional, so these plans do cost money, but you get matched up based on your needs with somebody who's a perfect fit. So we encourage you to go ahead and check that out if you are interested. Okay. And I think that sort of covers the main features. We can open things up for any questions or things we might have missed. And we'll go through that now. So I think we have a poll here. So let us know which of these features you guys are interested in. So go ahead and just, I think you could choose more than one. And let us know which ones you're excited about. Go ahead and put some comments in there. Just tell us the ones that matter to you. And we appreciate that. This release is expected for probably the first week of May, maybe the end of April. It just depends on how bug testing goes. We're working really hard to get everything up and ready. But you guys will be seeing it really soon. And when we do release that, we will be putting out extra information about the product and stuff. So the manual will be updated. There'll be new tutorials and whatnot. But we wanted to give you guys an update on what we were working on for version 24, update 3. and it's just about ready. So we're really excited and we think you guys will enjoy it. So let us know if you guys have any other comments or questions, and we'll try to work through some of those now. For printing a hard copy of an album, Robert, there's tons of companies out there. So, you can choose if you're looking to make a book. I most recently did one with a company called Printique here in the United States. They do a great job. If you're European based, I've also tried CEWE before, CEWE singular, but there's tons of companies. Mylio Photos is perfectly compatible with that. You can go into your albums, get things organized, work through your thoughts, and then just export high quality PNG files or high quality JPEGs. Or if you're doing really high quality printing, then make 16-bit TIFFs. But those are very easy to use in a variety of bookmaking services for sure. Lori, Angela, JC, any other questions or comments that we need to bring to the front for folks? And guys, if you have any other questions, feel free to put those into the chat or the Q&A, and we'll do our best to answer them. So you need to pay for 5 accounts for 4 people, correct? Question mark. Benoit, that's up to you. So you can have as many devices signed in on one account as you want. So using Spaces, you can add different devices and set rules for what people are allowed to do. We just heard from multiple users that some people wanted more granular control. Some people want multiple accounts just to keep their work life and personal lives totally separate on different backup drives with different devices signed in. So you can have a work account and add multiple coworkers and add them in. Or maybe it's your bowling team and everyone who's taking pictures is collaborating and you're sharing that with them. And then everyone who takes pictures has all their phones signed in. And after each game and league night, the pictures sync, right? That's up to you. But you might want more control over your family's pictures and only want family members on that. So this is up to you. You can have as many devices as you want signed into your account. Just remember, you're adding devices to your account. So it's all about control. In my household, I do have family members signed into my account, and I just use a space to control what they can access. On the flip side, my wife wants her own account. And I've been happily married for 25 years. If my wife wants to keep her photos separate from mine because she doesn't want my clutter, that's great. She does it her way, I do it my way. $10 a month is much better than marriage therapy, so I call it good. So, it all works out, but it's up to you. You can do it however you want. And if you have other family members who are adding or other people, they can add you as a guest to their library, and you can sign in and just, set your device to only sync thumbnails, browse, help them with organization, go in and look at things or find pictures you want and then selectively download them to your account. So, this is there. So Spaces and multi-account access are kind of a gradient, right? So you can use them together or independently to really control. And so it just depends on who you are. So we have people who do need to access multiple accounts, and so we support that. How can you strip metadata from a photo? So Ralph, there's a couple of ways of doing that. If you want to strip metadata when you publish a photo, like you're getting ready to share a picture, you can do that when you share, right? So, my wife is very privacy focused. And so when I go to email this picture, or maybe I want to post it someplace, what I can do is choose the safe share option, and that strips away all metadata. If you don't want to strip away all metadata, you can leave that unchecked, and then you could choose by category what you include. Maybe you want to include the ratings and the copyright information, but not any of the GPS or people tags or camera details. So you can decide what stuff is included in that file when you publish, as well as if you watermark or not. And remember, we do actually now support image watermarks as well on publish. So you can control that. If you want to modify the metadata that's in a file, we have some control under the info panel, by the way. So you'll be able to see that there. Also, I want to point out, did it make it in here? It did. So previously, we had in the family history panel extra metadata fields that were part of the family history metadata work group. Well, we heard from enough of you that you weren't interested in family history, but boy, did you like those fields. So you'll see now when the family history space is off, you still have all the expanded metadata fields here. So you can see the location shown, the sublocation, the city, the province, the country, the GPS coordinates. So we've expanded the Places tab for those of you who like the classic view of the info panel. Or if you're into family history, then turn on the family history view, and that just streamlines the info panel and puts the core information right at the top for the family history section. But you don't have to turn family history view on now if you just want the expanded places controls. You'll see those are now available. Well, let me rephrase that. Those are going to be available when we ship this update. So that was a popular request that we were glad to get into this release, and hopefully it'll make some of you happy, including, the three of you who yell at me about it on a weekly basis in the forum. So glad to do that. So we talked about stripping metadata. How can you open Mylio defaults to folder view? Workflows, it should remember where you were when you quit the application. So normally when you quit the application, it should resume where it left off. But it should also remember the workflow you were in when you quit. Right now, workflows are going to default to just these presets. But later this summer, just like Spaces, we'll ship custom ones, and you'll be able to customize your own workflows and add them to this menu. And you'll also be able to combine those in the future for other users. So like Spaces and workflows will work hand in hand. This is perfect when you really want to set up a device for a family member who should have limited access. Maybe you have a parent, for example, or a grandparent, and you want to set up their iPad to just have access to people and album view. And they can browse and see things, but they don't have to see device view. They don't have to see syncing. They don't have to see editing. You don't want them to actually make visual edits or to modify metadata. You can use Spaces and workflows to set up their device so they only see what they need, and everything else is hidden from them, which makes Mylio Photos a lot easier to share. So remember, you can do that under the devices panel and then set up their device and give them just the access that you want them to have. Okay. All right. Any other questions? These changes aren't there yet. So Sergio, these are the things that are coming when we ship the update. Okay. Mylio Photos already scans folders when you open up things. So when you open up the application, it scans for changes and looks to see if you've made things or added things. For example, right over there is my scanner, and it scans into my scans folder. So as I scan a new picture, it's automatically dropped into a folder that's in my Mylio Photos library, and then Mylio Photos will see that picture when it scans the folder for changes. So you don't have to import things if you're using linked folders and things like that. Yes, you can organize quick collections. We have not gone into all of that stuff yet. We have some extra things in the future where you'll have more control over quick collections, but you have the manage quick collections command. This lets you edit or delete quick collections. These are custom ones. For the ones that are pre-built, no, you don't have control on that yet, but we do have on the roadmap a feature that will bring similar functionality like we have in Spaces, where you will be able to manage, rename, hide, delete. It'll be an interface like this. That's further down the roadmap, meaning like it's something we want to do. It's not mission critical. We know that people want more control over quick collections. So it's on someone's to-do list. It's just probably something that'll happen this calendar year, but not next release. I can tell you that. So we will expand quick collections. Remember, they're right up here though, under quick filters. And they're great because, for example, I can use a quick collection like one of the pre-built ones, like awesome selfies. And what I'm going to immediately see are pictures, that were taken on the selfie camera. And for me, that tends to be photos with me, with my family and friends, right? And in this case, I still have the find up for person Megan. Well, I just found tons of pictures with me and my wife. And, that's great because I can send her a photo to cheer up her day. Or I could find a picture that I want to share. And it reminds me that I have pictures that she maybe hasn't seen. And so these all work together. And there's that find command, and it's really easy to step through. So these quick collections, they've been here for a while, but you'll see different options like review for cleanup is going to show you pictures that were 1 star or 2 stars or rejected. Well, these are ones that I maybe don't need anymore. Or quick collections, camera cleanup are going to be pictures from the last, pictures that have eyes closed and are blurry. or I can have, different things. So you got 90-day photos, show me everything recent. So you can go in and play with these, and it works really well just to help with organization. Okay. So definitely check that out. And I think you guys will like it. Some of these new changes. Okay. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming out today. And thanks to the team for helping and trying to answer your questions. I hope you guys enjoy this. Pamela, the keyword quick filter is a little further out. That's slated for hopefully by the end of the summer. But you can use the find command with keyword right now. So just keyword and colon. Or, of course, you can do that with the search command right now, or you can do it as a custom quick filter. So there's a great article in our product manual if you haven't seen it. So I'm going to try to find it here. It's called Custom Expressions, I believe. So I'll just say custom search. And you can easily go in and create a custom search expression. So we've got a great guide here of strings. I think it's right here. Here we go. Right. So you can see different things you can do, or explicit search terms like search category, search color, search file type, keywords, etc. So you can do all sorts of things like this. And I know the team has some videos and advanced tips on this. Angela, I'm sure you guys have done some coffee breaks on this topic, right? Using search expressions.
Oh, yes. Yeah. There's definitely been sessions on that.
Yeah.
And it's been mentioned in a lot of them as well, even if it's not the specific topic of the day.
Yeah. So, and you can do modifiers like and or. And so, that'll make it easier. And then once you build some of those custom ones, they're actually saved here. And so you can, so I have like a search here for my son and daughter, pictures of both my son and daughter, right? See? So you can do that, which is nice. And I want you to notice there something interesting, which is it did an additive thing now. So if you have a quick collection already loaded, like 90-day photo, and then I add Colleen and Michael, it actually stacked it. So here are pictures from the last 90 days that have my son and daughter in the picture at the same time. Pretty cool, right? So that works out nicely. So they'll now stack up here. And remember, if you click link, now as you switch views, okay, now the map view will update and I only see those pictures on the map if I had GPS data, or the people view would update. So you have nice controls up there just to make things a little bit easier as you're navigating and poking around. So there's a lot of other little things, and we'll have some extra articles when we ship about some of the bugs that were fixed and some of those little things like I showed you there, like quick collections plus new filters stacking on top of each other rather than clearing out. So I think you guys will like that. It just kind of makes it a little bit easier as you're working. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming out. And we really appreciate you guys being a Mylio Photos user. Please, if you haven't done so, consider telling your friends about Mylio Photos. Tell your parents, tell your children. We are a nice small company with great policies, and we're growing. We have a lot more stuff on tap throughout the end of the summer. We're going to be working on some additional storage options for you, and some additional backup options are on the plate that we're working on. We also have some other navigation tools to help with, and I think we'll be getting things like suggestions into search. So as you type, just like how Quick Filter makes suggestions as you start to type, you'll start to see those sorts of things in search as well here soon. So we got some cool stuff in the works. The team is just getting ready to kick off a new sprint, which is an engineering term for, about a 6-week period when we work on features. So like I said, this current sprint is over. It's just in test, and they're doing the final fixes on bugs and such. And we look forward to getting this out the door to you here in a couple of weeks, maybe 1 to 2 weeks. So we'll update you via the forum in the community when it's ready. And we're happy to answer questions in the forum and community as you have them about this release. So again, thank you guys so much for being a Mylio Photos customer. And we really appreciate if you could spread the word to others let them know about the product. We think it's come a long way with being usable and easy to use. And we just keep trying to add things based on your feedback that make the product better. So we're really glad to have your input. And thank you guys as well for taking the survey. That'll help us know a little bit more about what's on your mind. Okay. Well, thank you guys again so much, and have a great day.